This drama is the culmination of a prediction I made years ago, finally coming true. I've said I have repeated ever since the wide popularization of anti-vax conspiracy theories under Trump and the MAGA era. Like the anti-vax stuff started as a very niche, dumb little thing. And now, we're at the point where it is the party line that must be towed among Republicans to be anti-vax. And the only other conspiracy out there, dumber than anti-vax, is Flat Earth. And I figured, you know what? If they could stoop so low as to make anti-vax the line that must be towed as a party among Republicans, then Flat Earth must not be that far away. And every day, I see as the right-wing conspiracy-loving side of the internet begins to embrace the idea of Flat Earth more and more. They've had a big kick on the idea of chemtrails for a while now. They've been on the chemtrail bit, like that's been really blowing up lately. But now, since they were, just talking about how the airline industry is like full of liars and it's like all meant to serve the New World Order or whatever, now they're getting into the idea that any industry centered around showing you the Earth from high up must be evil and fake and trying to lie to you to serve the agenda of the New World Order, right? And so, the newest company, or I should say the newest, group to get targeted by these folks is Blue Origin. The MAGA side of the internet has been jumping on their asses. For those who don't know, Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos' space company. And it's really, hardly a space company right now. From what I've seen, it's just they send people up on little space tourism trips. You go up to what is technically space. You're in a little capsule with lots of windows, so you get a real good view. You fall down to the Earth for a little bit, so you get 0G. You experience weightlessness. And then you come down for a relatively soft landing. It's a quick, I think 10-minute, if that long thing. And it's just meant to be for rich people who can buy a $100,000 ticket to be able to say, I went to space. And because space travel is getting to become day by day more accessible to those who have money, and we're starting to get more and more videos going viral on YouTube of people going to space, like Emily Calandrelli did a video where she went up in a Blue Origin rocket and floated around in the capsule. Dude Perfect went to space. They were the first YouTubers to do it, I believe. And now, just the other day, they just did, I believe, their 31st launch, and they took Katy Perry and her friends up into space. This, of course, got massive news attention, particularly from the right. And of course you had the flat earthers. You also had the culture warriors, because it was all women who went up. This was an all-woman space flight, and as in it was all women in the pod. This, of course, was being framed as like a feminist accomplishment, right? It's a bit cringe to be doing that. But naturally, the response from the right has to immediately be a reactionary rejection of that idea. And so they start immediately attacking, Blue Origin, Katy Perry, the entire idea of this, calling it cringe and stupid, pretending like space isn't cool, and now they're pretending like space doesn't exist. Here, really quickly, just so you guys know what I'm talking about, check out this space flight video. This is the video.
1, 2, 3, take up space!
Correct me if I'm wrong, they're just falling, right? Like, they just send you up, right to the edge of where it's technically space, but then, you get dropped off of the rocket boosters and you're in a pod that just starts falling down, right? And so while you're falling, you get to experience weightlessness, but then you gotta, strap in and get ready for, the final descent. Yeah, they're just falling? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so, you're not, orbiting Earth at, insane speeds and thus experiencing, the kind of weightlessness that's seen on the ISS, right? Like the ISS is technically falling down to Earth, but it's moving so fast that it clears the ground below it before it can fall into it. That's the best way to describe it. Like it's moving along a curved surface so fast that before it can lose altitude, it's already past the point in the curve where that would be lowering altitude. So it just ends up locked in this state of circling, right? That's an actual orbit. And so you're nonstop in free fall, but you never actually fall, right? And that's why you get weightless on the ISS. They're in a pod that just goes straight up with nothing but the momentum of the Earth, right? Like they're not getting any like massive adjustments to allow them to go like, what is it, 8,000 kilometers a second the ISS goes in order to not like fall down to Earth. They're just going straight up with only the like 1,000 miles an hour imparted by the Earth's rotation. So they're just staying right above where they launched off and then dropping straight back down to the ground. So it's very much still cool, but it's not like they're not like ISS. They're not even as high as the ISS, not by a lot, but you know, they're not even orbiting the Earth here. This is very much like a quick going up to see space and then coming down. You're not experiencing space, which is kind of the easy to debunk, I wouldn't call it lie, but half-truth of Blue Origin's advertising, which of course gives a somewhat valid in for conservatives to try and attack the legitimacy of this company. And obviously I'm not a big fan of like the private space sector and the fact that it exists primarily due to the gutting of the public space sector and NASA, but you know, I like space travel. I'm a nerd. Anytime I see some shit going up into space and they take a camera with them, I'm locked in, okay? I'm there. I'm tuning in. I'm gonna watch it.
Training today, we're going to learn everything that you need to know to fly a nominal mission to space.
Your beginnings and simulation at T plus 2 minutes. Separation is confirmed.
It is my pleasure to tell you, you've passed. Does that make you feel confident? Does that make you feel good?
It makes it start to feel even more real.
What is the vibe?
You're going to space, Katy Perry.
This morning, now that the morning is finally here. Oh,
guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Katy Perry have a cat named Kitty Purry? I'm pretty certain that's real. And when I heard that, I was like, that's so fucking based. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's the funniest shit ever. Wait, actually, yeah, that's epic. That's epic as fuck. Can we get confirmation on this? Is her cat's name really Kitty Purry? Yes, or at least she did. That's pretty based.
There is so much energy here.
It's not about going to space, it's about what we bring back. And I get to go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't you need to be super athletic to even get into one of these? Not really. I think this gets up to like 2 Gs maybe when you're going up, because you're going up really fast, but you're not going that fast. So I think that, like, yeah, you got some Gs on you going up, but they got you in like a pretty tight suit. Like, you're probably wondering, like, what are those suits they're wearing? Why are they? They're actually closer to flight suits that jet pilots would wear, because they're supposed to squeeze you a little bit, keep your circulation going, so you don't end up having all your blood get like sent down to your feet or something, or like just pulling up in certain parts of your body due to the G-force. And so like you do need to be at a certain level of physical fitness so your heart is strong enough to pump blood to your brain and through your body despite the G-force. And you also need to wear some kind of suit that like applies a little bit of pressure on you. Yeah. So yeah, there are some standards you got to meet, but they meet them. You know, like almost anybody can can handle like 2 or 3 Gs, like without dying or passing out. But they're not going like 6 Gs or something. They're not like it's not like those videos where someone's in the passenger seat of like a jet and their face like droops and they go as they like pass out from the Gs, you know?
With 5 incredible women.
We are all in our places, bright, shiny faces.
Babies, I love you so much. Love you, Grandpa. I love you, Daisy. I love you so much.
Here we go.
They're going to fucking space. Dude, I'm not brave enough to do this. It's actually crazy that Katy Perry is braver than me. Because not in a million years would I do this. They're falling right now. That's why they're in 0G, because they're falling. I wouldn't be able to stop freaking out because I'm falling.
Look at the moon.
Oh, the moon. Okay, that goes hard. Being able to see the moon is great.
Oh my gosh. I got you, Flynn.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't even know if being in that thing with like 5 hot women would make it any better. I'd just be terrified. I'd be like grabbing on to like the most grabbable thing and like pulling myself against it to like curl up like I'm falling right now, I'm falling right now, I'm falling right now.
It was the most incredible experience of my life.
So yeah, this video got a lot of attention. And of course, the flat earther side of things is giving it the they're giving it the whole shebang, right? Now, this being so close to the concept of the earth and its shape insofar as like discourse has meant that the right's attention being drawn to these people and attacking this concept of like space flight and blue origin, it's leading to a sort of very obvious burst in the rhetoric around flat earth, to the point where, of all people, Hank Green made a video to talk about it because he noticed it as well. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about when I say like the right is attacking this, here's like an example from Sky News Australia, which is basically like this is basically Australia's Fox News or OAN. Like they're actually like more nasty than Fox News in my experience. From what I've seen of them, they're a lot, especially when it comes to their talk about like minority groups, they're way less politically correct and a lot nastier. Like they'll just outright say like just like the kind of shit that even Tucker wouldn't say without like couching it in euphemism, you know? But here's a little bit of an example of what the right has been going after them for here.
An all-female Blue Origin space crew with celebrities including Katy Perry, Lauren Sanchez and Gayle King has been hilariously mocked after it returned to Earth following an 11-minute trip into the Earth's atmosphere. Katy Perry jumped out of the aircraft and kissed the ground in a painfully cringe moment that has been roasted online.
Katie!
Like, you can say it's cringe, but, like, anybody in her position would do the exact same thing. Like, let's be real. Like, this is one of those situations where it's only cringe because it's not you. Come on. Come on. It's only cringe because it's someone else. Let's be real. Let's be real. It's only cringe because it's not you. If this was you, you'd be doing the same damn thing. You would literally fall to your knees and be happy to be back on Earth because the fear of falling all the way back down to Earth. Like, you're in a pod falling, and like, it's terrifying from what I've seen. But also, you would be, like, so, like, you would be acting like this. You would be cringy and all super, like, oh my god, I just went to space, holy shit, I just, like, you would feel special. You are one of very few people to have gone up that high. And that is, no matter how much it was because you were rich and could afford a ticket, that is still something that if you were in her place, you would be doing the same damn thing. And if you pretend you wouldn't be, then you're just lying. Half a million people watching live.
Cool story. She got to ride in a rocket with other women. Did any of them actually pilot it? No. Basically, this was a glorified carnival ride. The pop star then dug herself into a deeper hole of cringe with her post-flight interview.
It is the highest high, and it is surrender to the unknown, trust, and this whole journey is not just about going to space. It's the training, it's the team, it's the whole thing. I couldn't recommend this experience more. This is like up there with all the, you know, different tools that I've learned in my life, from meditation to the Hoffman process. This is up there because what you're doing is...
She is very cringe, to be fair, but, like, this is exactly, like, you would be saying the same kind of shit if you went through this experience. There's criticisms you can give of Katy Perry, like the fact that she continues to work with Dr. Luke, a known rapist, but the fact that they go for her riding a rocket instead is the funniest shit. Yeah, like, to be clear, I'm not trying to, like, defend Katy Perry as a person here. My point is that this particular culture war thing is just nonsense bullshit. In fact, it's so nonsense, the Lord of Education content on YouTube, Hank Green, made a video about it. And he talked about the whole culture war conversation too, and we might watch a little bit of that, but my favorite part was his talking about the flat earthers, because like I said, what this is all leading to is the fact that flat earthers are using this story to bring the broader MAGA movement on board with their shit, with the whole, hey, you know, Blue Origin, you know, they got the money to CGI these videos. You really think these are real? You really think we're going to space? You know, isn't it just convenient how, like, only the rich and the powerful get to go to space? Like, you know for a fact that's what's going on. And I'm happy to say Hank Green has called it out. I want to check this video out. I haven't watched it yet.
You know, I don't like it any more than you do. But I'm here to tell you why your Blue Origin takes are dumb. And you're just going to have to sit there and listen to it and learn, okay? Okay. Number one, that it's fake. And this mostly hinges on the fact that the door opened before Jeff Bezos opened the door. But it turns out that you can open it from the inside, and the fact that they did that...
There are a lot of viral tweets claiming it's fake. He's going to go over some of them, I guess, so I'm glad we get examples, because I don't have any examples on hand. It seems he does.
Is fine and normal. But let's zoom out and ask ourselves, what would we gain from having a bunch of people over and over again go up in Blue Origin rockets and lie about the fact that it happened? I don't know. Is it CGI? Are Katy Perry and William Shatner lizard people who are just pretending so that they can manipulate you? Like, the big group of people who believe that this is fake are trying to hold on to a belief that space doesn't exist. Like, they think there's a shell around the Earth, or possibly just above the Earth, because there is no around it because it's not a sphere, and that it changes color during the day. And honestly, great for them.
So, this term is used to not mean this, but most of the time you hear someone use it as a noun literally and unironically, it's a sign they're a flat earther. Firmament. The first time I ever met a flat earther in real life, I've only ever met one flat earther in real life, okay? I was 18, I was at a friend's house, I was watching the SpaceX, the Falcon X launch, the one that was like the first to actually land its boosters. Fuck Elon and everything, but it was a big deal because it was going to be the first rocket launch where the boosters were going to land themselves essentially afterwards, and they did successfully. It was a huge deal. But while watching the rocket launch, like, my friend's dad is there and he says, you know, that thing's going to hit, like, we're watching the rocket go up and he's like, saying, like, while pointing at the TV, that it's going to hit the firmament any minute. And I didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. I was like, what? It's going to hit the what? Like, but I could glean that he was essentially describing a magical barrier that would destroy the rocket once it hit a certain height. And I was pretty certain that wasn't going to happen. At that point, I was like, is he a fucking flat earther? Like, I started to figure it out while watching the rocket launch, that he's a flat earther. And he, like, left the room after it started to get, like, up there and there was no, like, hitting of the firmament. He just kind of left silently and dipped out. Why is every fucking dad a conspiracy theorist? Boredom. You gotta understand, the wealthy and bored love conspiracy theories. The middle class and bored love conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are a thing of the middle class and the wealthy. Those are the people who are bored enough to believe this shit and care about it.
Just hold on to that. If that's what's giving you meaning right now, sure. I am not, however, going to waste a single fucking glucose molecule thinking about you, okay? So number one, it's not fake. And I did see that one on TikTok and Twitter. What would we gain by lying about any of this? Nothing. It's not fake. Okay. Number two, this guy's
They'll come up with some examples.
Facts. Blue Origin flight didn't really go up to space like the media is portraying. They didn't actually experience microgravity either. Well, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's dumb. It's like, I mean, I don't, like, you can just put stuff into the little boxes and push enter, and that's I don't know, who is this man? Host of a show and politically uncensored, attorney. So I think it's fair to say that this man is not worth brain cells. But I will say that like what Blue Origin does is they go up to the Kármán line, which is the internationally recognized boundary of space. Now, there isn't a moment that's like the atmosphere ends and space begins. It fades out. There's a point at which it's definitely homogeneous space, and there's a point at which it's definitely atmosphere. But there's a big fuzzy area between those two things, and knowing exactly where to draw the line and say that this is space now is hard. And so we just pick a point. So that space, we've decided. And Blue Origin doesn't go up to like the point where like the view is best. You know, they're not like, let's get to the point where we're up into the, stratosphere and we can see like the blue halo of the atmosphere and the curvature of the Earth. They go up until the Kármán line, just at it, and then they come back down. And they do experience weightlessness because the thing starts to fall down at the rate of gravity. And during that period of time, everybody's falling together at the same time. And this is actually not physically different from being...
That's the detail you don't want to know going into that, is that the weightlessness you're feeling is just falling. You're just in free fall, and that's why you feel weightlessness. Because, like, I think most people think that you're going up, you're floating, like, in 0G, I guess, at the edge of space. Because people don't understand how space works. Most people don't. Even, like, rich celebrities, especially rich celebrities, don't know how space works. And then, like, it kind of, like, drops down, right? That's probably what most of the people that are signing up for this probably think it happens. And that it's probably for the best they don't know that the segment where they're up high looking out at the world and they're in zero gravity is just them falling straight back down to the ground at terminal velocity.
In orbit, where you're just falling all of the time, but you're going fast enough that you miss the Earth. So you get to have that weightlessness perpetually. But they experience weightlessness. The same microgravity that you would experience if you were on the space station is what you experience when you are in free fall ever. And also when you're in free fall. But like, from what I'm guessing, this guy thinks is that like when you get to space, gravity goes away. Because that is a thing. Like, it makes
technically,
sense
all orbits are
free
free
in
falls,
space and they're always floating around. But they're still under the impacts of gravity up there. There's the point at which the Earth's gravity like suddenly drops to zero. They are up there, and what's happening is the space station is falling in Earth's gravity around and around. It's going really fast, so it doesn't hit the ground. It just keeps falling around and around. He's upset that there was no orbital insertion. I mean, so this is, I guess, my like next take. Why are we having this conversation now? Like, I understand having some conversations now that we wouldn't have had previously. Like, I find it fairly uncool that this is being pitched as like a great achievement for women when like there are many extraordinarily accomplished female astronauts, including many in training right now who will go to space in the future. And I think we're mostly talking about...
And this is the element of cringe to it that's like a genuine worthwhile criticism. And this is where the right's gotten really effective over the last few years. They used to be a lot worse at this, but they've gotten better. And that's where the left's been at a big disadvantage, is the right has gotten a lot better at picking their battles. They've gotten a lot better. And they tend to attack and make a huge deal out of certain niche situations where most people are basically guaranteed to default on agreeing with them. Right? Like that cringy Katy Perry video, most people will default to thinking that was cringe and like, ew, right? And so it's really easy to then take people who already are going to agree with your main point and then to start adding other addendum points onto that already agreed upon premise, and you start bringing people on board with some other ideas because you hooked them with the... Isn't this so cringe, guys?
Because it is famous people. And we're talking about it because Blue Origin wants to market itself so that people will buy space tickets. And my instinct is that this is a fad and that space tourism is not going to be a thing. Like, it's just not that good. It's just not that special. Like, one of my favorite things about space tourism is that like they started doing these rocket things, and then a bunch of other companies were like, "What if we did stratospheric balloons?" And so there's all these like stratospheric balloon companies where you go up into the.
So he goes on talking about it for a while. I highly recommend you watch the original video from Hank, because Hank Green is the GOAT. And if you're not already subscribed to him, then I don't even know what you're doing here. Like, go do it right now. Like, stop watching my channel right now and go subscribe to Hank Green. Like, go do it, you know? But that was the main thing I wanted to talk about, is like how the right is actively using this situation and the like culture war investment in how cringe everyone thinks Katy Perry is, to start weaseling in the idea that, you know, maybe this video was faked. Maybe all the space videos are faked. you know how Twitter is. It's these viral tweets where it's like, oh, did anyone notice this part of the video? Kind of fishy. Kind of, just saying, I'm only asking questions. Isn't that kind of fishy? And that's how you start getting people slowly accustomed to a crazy, insane new conspiracy theory. And now's the time for Flat Earth to get big, because we've only got, who knows, maybe a few decades before, like, high atmosphere travel, at least, is so common that it's not really realistic for most people to believe in Flat Earth. So we're kind of in the last, stint of when Flat Earth can be a relevant and popular belief, because right now most people, outside of videos and having to trust NASA and other space agencies and companies, can't go see the curvature of the Earth themselves outside of just looking out at the horizon. And as much as you can look at the horizon on the beach, if you're a flat earther, you can come up with a million justifications for why the boat slowly dipping below the horizon doesn't mean the Earth is round. Like, they come up with a lot of justifications for it. So yeah. With that said, if you watch this whole video, I want you to comment down below, everyone knows the Earth is a cube. That's what I want you to comment. If you watched this whole thing, you enjoyed, you watched all the way to this point, I want you to comment down below, everyone knows the Earth is a cube. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. As does leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me. Don't forget, of course, to follow my social medias, linked down below in the description as well, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, including my Discord server. That's the main hub of my community and fan base. I actually host gaming events, call-in streams, and watch parties there every weekend. Not every weekend, every Friday. And I announce all my new uploads and streams there too, so if you don't want to miss anything, my Discord server is the place to be. Like I said, linked down below in the description. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.